Welcome to Illyria, aka another episode of the Sispatch with
Bevin
and Jasmine.
and some children.
Today is an exciting day. One, because we're filming in person.
Yes.
Once again, or recording in person. But also because we have some very, very special guests. Would you like to do the honors?
Sure. So today's episode, other than the children, these are my children, by the way. That's Benjamin, that's Lincoln, and that's Oliver. But our very special guests that we're having on today, we've talked about them multiple times on the podcast, and we're going to hear from them directly and get their thoughts and opinions on just everything. Would like to introduce our parents, David and Caroline. Our parents.
Everyone, give a round of applause for the parents.
I'm Dad.
And I'm Mom.
Oh, and that is my sister's computer. All right. You wanna share something about our parents real quick while I bring up my notes?
Sure. So our nephew is giving an introduction. Dad, you're also muted again. I just want to oh, he knows. Okay. A little intro to our parents. They are wonderful. They are spectacular, show-stopping, never the same. If you get the meme, then you get it. But if not, then that's all. But we are joined by our wonderful parents and my 3 nephews, my sister's 3 sons. And they really, really wanted. Oh, first of all, my parents are like the biggest
Number 1
fans
of the Sispatch.
of the Sispatch. So whenever we shout out to our parents, this is them.
Did you change any of the settings on here?
No.
Okay.
Why?
It just said mono and 2. It's fine.
Okay.
Hopefully it doesn't sound any different. We'll find out. Okay. So, to give you guys a little bit of an introduction on my parents, you want to scoot over so they can see Dad a little better?
Oh yeah.
My dad, he's the guy who can turn any conversation into something about the lighting or the cleanliness of a room or what music is playing and how he feels about the music. And my mom, she's the glue of our family. She's armed with Facebook Live and she's ready to remind us who's watching from the Philippines at any time.
That's so true.
Do you guys want to share anything about yourselves to the viewers? Anything? How have you been enjoying the Sispatch? Make sure you unmute yourself, please. Why do you like the Sispatch?
The Sispatch I like because they're my 2 daughters. They share what they're
It's
thinking.
because we never shared when we were younger.
Yeah, they fight like cat and dog.
Still
Still do.
Sometimes, but it's better now. They know when to stop.
Sometimes.
What has
And,
been your favorite episode so far?
I cannot remember,
Oh.
but I have watched
Bro.
all of them. The one that I didn't like is the mushroom, the last one, I think.
Why?
So this Thanksgiving, I did not eat no mushroom because I don't want to turn into zombie.
She's traumatized by the ant zombies. What about you, Dad? What have you enjoyed about the podcast, and do you have any
Yeah,
standout moments that you'd like to share?
I do. Not so much standout, but I do like watching my daughters as adults, as opposed to when they were little girls. See how much they've matured
We're just babies.
I did the baby. I did the baby.
and how crazy they've become. And see how they get along as adults. And it's really interesting to see that.
Did you have any moments on an episode where you're like that?
I was out laughing out loud.
Yeah. Any of your favorite, or that you can remember off the
I,
top of your
I
head?
don't remember exactly, but there were quite a few times I was like watching and I did laugh out loud a lot.
As
like
one
that.
does.
As one often does.
Okay. Do you want to ask them any questions before I move
No,
on?
let's go straight into it.
Okay, so I'm kind of I'm excited about this episode. I'm also slightly nervous because I don't know what they're gonna say. So they don't know. I just have this outline here, so they don't know what's gonna happen either. So we'll just Philippines is calling. Do you need to go clock out real quick? Okay. So we're gonna start off with some questions for Dad, and Mom, you could chime in if you want to. But I have some questions for you, Dad.
Okay.
So something that most if you know us, you know that my dad is very he's very, I don't know if artistic is the right word.
Mm-hmm.
Is that how you would describe him?
I think I think
Creative.
yeah, creative maybe. That's the word I would use.
Yes, creative inclined.
But artistic falls under that category, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, so one of the things about my dad is he plays multiple instruments. Can you share with us how you learned how to play so many instruments? His main one, or share first the instruments you can play, and then share about like how you learned how to play the instruments.
Well, first of all, I play piano, and I have played guitar, bass guitar, and accordion.
That is so
Well, I have, and the one I play the most is the piano, and I love playing the piano. And I learned how to play the piano when I was really young. My sister had piano lessons. My oldest sister had piano lessons, and I used to listen to her and watch her getting her piano lessons. And when her piano lessons were over, then I'd take over the piano and I'd just tinker around with the piano at a young age until I could start making sounds. And eventually I started actually playing the piano and tunes, and eventually became our church worship team pianist. And I was like one of the main pianists for the church. And I still play to this day. But the guitar I played for quite a while.
Did you just pick it up?
Just picked them up. I didn't take any
Must be nice.
lessons.
Can't really.
So I read by ear.
Well, the thing is, he talked
Play
about
by
how
ear.
he mooched off of his sister's lessons and watching her practice. He did the same thing when I took piano lessons and mooched off of my piano
That's right.
lessons
That's
and
how I do.
learned alongside me. He's just sitting there in the back, taking his mental notes about how to play piano. But no, you played by ear, and then like you learned more of like the theory side, I think, when you were like with the lessons with me.
And within recent years, I have increased my ability to play piano by going online, learning YouTube techniques from different people. That really has increased my abilities.
I'm telling you, you can learn anything on YouTube nowadays.
Yeah.
You can.
It's crazy. Okay, so other than like, okay, let's keep on the subject of music. What is your favorite genre? Or
My all-time favorite genre is gospel music, black gospel music, to be specific.
no, it is. No, I get it. There's a difference between contemporary
That's right.
worship and like gospel music.
There is.
There's something special about Miss Darlene from Hillsong. So we
I love her
acknowledge
too.
that, but there's just a little bit more soul in some people's voices.
It touches me. It touches right deep down inside me. So that's why I like that. But I like all kinds of music, not just Christian music. I like all kinds. I like classical. I
Yeah.
love jazz. I love country. I love rap. We go on.
No,
The
it's
list goes on.
true. One of my fondest memories growing up is waking up. Like, to me, I'm young, so I'm like, oh, the sun's coming up, like it's barely like morning. But it's because Dad would play like random music in the back, like to wake us up. He'd have like classical or Motown or jazz or something to wake us up in the morning, and it was just like so much fun.
I think that kind of, at least for me, it plays into how like music affects my mood. Just because I'll be, if I could, I live with another family right now. But like when I was living here with my family and my parents, like the first thing I would do is blast music. Like when I was in the shower, when I was in my room. I wish I could do that still, but I think because of those sorts of moments where he would really just play like Motown so loud, or jazz so gospel so loud, and it was just like part of the daily. And I guess not a lot of people do the same, but I'm also like, just give me my music.
Lincoln, you were gonna tell us what you like, what kind of music you like? Oh, he doesn't know anymore. But he was saying I like, and then he stopped. Okay, so moving a little bit away from music, but still in like the creative. We have another alarm. Oh, okay. So moving on from music but still in like the creative sphere for dad. Another hobby of his that I think he actually, you know what? You've always been into it because we have photo albums upon photo albums and film video of me and you growing up as just from like infancy to even up until high school even. Is it photography and videography for him?
Mhm.
What inspired you to like pick up a camera, be it like a still photo or like a video camera? Like what got you into that?
I never was interested in picking up a camera most of my life, my young life,
Right.
until I got started having children. When I had children, the camera was never put down.
It really wasn't.
I virtually made, like she said, albums upon albums with comments on them.
Yeah.
I mean, picture albums.
It's like Instagram captions before Instagram. He's
Yeah.
writing these things
I'm still
out.
doing that.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's where it started basically. And so now, yeah, we have the grandkids, and it's just moving on. And then my girls are like, Dad, because I'm always taking candid shots.
Wait,
And
you're getting ahead because I was gonna ask my sister, like, is there any like moment where like his photography you're like, ugh? Do you have any memory? Oh, go ahead, Mom. You can go ahead. We got a angry knock at the door. So if we get murdered,
it's probably
Just
it's
kidding.
probably Dory.
Okay, so yeah, our
Time for her walk.
our dad, one of my things where I'm like, ugh, is like when we're driving and he's driving and he takes his camera out trying to take pictures while
Tell nobody.
he's driving. I'm like, Dad! Like looking up to the side. I'm like, what are you doing? Does he do that with you guys too, Ben?
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Actually,
But
sometimes.
it's when we're at a red light.
Yep,
Okay.
that's true.
Okay.
I don't see them.
Okay, that's good.
I hope no law enforcement officers.
Have you seen
You don't see
his
it get a
car?
ticket in the mail.
Okay, so continuing with photography, there's been like lots of changes with photography in itself, like the different types of photography. So like went from film to now digital. What has been your favorite medium of photography?
I have a loaded question.
Well, my favorite is using my iPhone. It is. I don't like. I had DSLR and used them for a while, but they're in storage now. So I use my phone, my iPhone. Is that what you meant?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay, Mom, you can't go walking right now. We're getting to your part.
It's important. It's important.
We'll be fast then.
Hold on. All right. I'll stay right here. I'll be there in 15 minutes, Dory.
Okay. Okay, you guys, we gotta finish this up in 15 minutes then. And then you can leave and me and Dad will talk. Oh, and Jasmine, I guess.
I'm just here for kicks and giggles.
She says we'll be back. She takes an hour to do her walks. This is gonna be, we're not gonna go on for an hour and a half, Mom. That's not the deal. Okay, you can hand the microphone over to Mom, unless you have any questions for Dad.
No.
Okay. All right, Mom. So our mom is she's an immigrant from the Philippines, so she was not born here in the States. I was asking her earlier, what age did you come to the Philippines or to the States from the Philippines?
And what did I tell you?
You told me 15.
Yes. I came here when I was 15.
15 years old. So what was the biggest like culture shock when you came?
Well, what I thought is I will be with my mom and my dad and my siblings all together. Happy.
I mean, what was the big thing?
When you got to the States, what surprised you about the United States?
The
Uh,
differences.
The weather, the language, and my accent.
Okay. That was like the hardest things to overcome was like confidence in your accent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Education.
Yeah.
She was kind of shy growing up because you were just 15. That's right in high school. So How did you my dad's over there with his comments about she was shy until she met me. um what do you wish people understood more about Filipino culture?
I don't know. It's it's uh it's really hard because people from here don't really know the culture until they step in the island.
Uh-huh.
So even if you explain to them, they're still kind of like, huh? You know?
So my mom has recently been traveling back and forth between here and her homeland, the Philippines. Did you have any messages you'd like to say to your family over there? You can say it in Ilocano or you can say it in English, whatever you want.
My family in the Philippines, my cousins, second cousin, my uncles, and my aunties. We will be coming. Try to come every year, Lord willing. So there.
Is this an announcement video?
Yes,
She's like,
it is.
surprise. Yeah, my mother is pretty well traveled now. Probably the most out of all of us, at least internationally.
Yeah.
Because of your Auntie Dory over there in the back.
Shout out to Auntie Dory.
And we are planning for our next tour again in 2026.
Surprise.
Can't relate. Ollie's wanting to go to Hawaii. Okay. Another thing that my mom loves to do is she likes to go. Okay, so me and my sister talked about this before. I do like streaming, like co-working streaming. My sister has done co-working and like gaming streaming. My mom does IRL streaming on Facebook Live. Tell us more about Facebook Live. What do you like about Facebook Live?
Facebook Live is because I like it. Because especially when if Philippines are up, they're not sleeping, and then they tune in and you can communicate with them. Depends on what you're doing, and it depends what time it is over there. Like right now, they're kind of waking up, or they are awake, probably doing their daily tours. But I just like it to share really what I'm doing, and they can see what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's easy and free way to communicate with each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I do have a question for both you and Dad. What was your guys' first impressions of each other?
I'm like not ready for these answers. My dad's gonna have some snarky comments to make, I think.
When I first met your dad, well, I work at Natividad, but I never seen your dad until your godmother introduced me to him. And I was already born again at that time when I met him. I was just barely born again. And I met him because I got introduced to him because I have a flat tire and we didn't know how to change my tire. So your ninang paged him to come and change my tire. So that's where it started. To be honest with you, to me personally, it was like love at first sight.
Mic drop.
She said, and that's all that I had to say about that.
Happily ever after.
Yeah.
Nope. I agree with her on that, but mine was more a gradual build up in love. When I first met her was she was very shy, and she kind of hid behind Beverly, who worked at the hospital with us. So she every time I would say anything, she would be hiding behind Beverly, and so when we left to go change the tire, they were walking in front of me. And the first thing that I noticed, which caught my attention, was Jasmine's going to be embarrassed to hear this, but it's a natural thing. Was her walking away in a specific dress. The dress was like aqua blue, and it was a slinky type dress. So when she was walking away, she was doing her walk. Of course, it was a natural walk, but for me, my eyes was focusing on the walk. So
She's heard,
that was
she's heard this story
That's what-
before.
Secondhand embarrassment.
you asked what my first impression was. That was my very first impression because that was the very first time I met your mom's butt.
Okay, for the both of you guys, quick question: favorite Filipino dish? My dad is half Filipino, so he also knows Filipino dishes.
Mestizo.
You, Mom, your favorite Filipino dish?
Mango bean.
Peanut bed.
Okay, Mom, one more question for you, and then we'll give it to Dad. What's the best part about being a grandma?
It is a blessing to be a grandma with 3 boys. 1, 2, and 3 right here. And they're all pungalos. And they love to spend time with grandma and grandpa.
Okay, Mom, you can go on your walk, and we'll finish it up with Dad. Everybody say bye to Mom. She's ditching us.
Bye. No, thank you for ditching us.
Peace.
That's it. See, this is she wants to be on our podcast, and then she to go on another walk. Okay, Dad.
Yeah.
Can you share
Mm-hmm.
one funny or heartwarming story about raising my sister and I?
Oh.
He's like, there's not many.
There are many. There are many, but I cannot really specifically remember exactly one. Can you help me remember something? So, aside from you guys getting excited for moving
I got one.
when you were in a sitting in a box,
Good old times, sitting in a box.
enjoying each other.
I got one, Dad.
Yes.
At least it wasn't funny for me then, but it's funny for me now. I used to get in trouble a lot. It's not a secret. But my dad at one point got so mad at me
Mm.
and he decided to spank me because I was I don't know, being rude, I guess. And then he stood up so fast and the first thing that I did is I just sat my butt on the floor. And then he just started laughing and then I learned from there. I don't know, was that heartwarming for you?
You still do that.
I still catch me sitting on the floor right now.
I feel like a lot of my memories of Dad growing up are like small little things, like we would go to like McDonald's and then we wouldn't come straight home. You would like find like a garden to like park at. We
Oh,
would
yeah.
just like eat in the car, or when he would pick me up after school, like he didn't have to park close, but he would park as close as he could to our high school, and he'd just be waiting there to like pick me up. Or even like when like after football games, it gets kind of cold here. It's not the coldest. We live in California, so it's not the coldest, but still we'd be cold after football games, and he'd come and pick us up, and he'd have like the heater turned all the way up, so it's like nice and toasty in the car. I don't know, those are fun.
Carl's Jr.
Well,
That's right.
Dad
That's
would
right.
always make sure that we have some kind of food or beverage.
Oh,
Um,
can I
Yeah, go
chime in
ahead.
here?
Yeah.
I remember all the times that I used to go take Jasmine food to school for her whole class.
Oh.
Pizza.
excuse me, your
Yeah.
whole class,
Uh-huh.
girl. Did you just
She
volunteer?
No,
yeah.
it was my leadership class, and my dad was like, "What do you want to eat?" And I would be like, like
Can you?
pizza." And then he'd be like, "Yeah, do you want me to get for your class?" And I would say, "Well, can you?" And he's like, "Sure." And it was like our middle school at the time, so it was also kind of funny because like he'd have to like hand it over the gate.
The kids would be like, you could see them on the other side.
You see everyone looking just because they're like, there's a place that had sold Filipino food at the time too that was open, so I'd always ask for that, and then he would go get it, and then he'd bring like pizza, and we'd hand it over the gate. And I was short, so it was really difficult to do, but
It was fun.
he enjoyed it also.
I did.
It wasn't just me.
I enjoyed doing it for Bevin too.
I mean, I feel like for me, I didn't ask for much from you guys. I'm
No.
just like, can I just get like $10 or $20, and like that'll last me a whole week, and they would just give me money, and I'd take care of myself.
And she did.
But you did always make sure to like bring me to Starbucks or bring me Starbucks, even like when I was working. like I would text you, be like, "Oh, Starbucks sounds so good right now," and then like 10 minutes later, he's like, "I'm here." He'd have a Starbucks ready for me. So we were spoiled by our dad taking care of us. Well, you retired a little bit early, so we were able to enjoy the benefits of you retiring early.
That's right.
Because you were able to pick us up from school or bring us food or
Oh,
just
you know what to do.
Well, for me, you got to help raise my kids too because of your early retirement.
I love it.
So.
And I really love it too,
What?
because I had 2 daughters, and now I have my 3 grandsons. So that's awesome, and I'm waiting on this one.
Okay. When the Lord says, Dad, let's not rush anything.
No, we're not.
Now, my dad, and I've always said, like, my parents have been, and I know you can agree with this, but our parents have been a big blessing in our lives. But I know for a fact I've been spoiled, but like I think our parents spoil us in the most loving way that they know how. I think our parents are.
Because we're not like super rich, so like we just do what we can and like love on each other the way that we can.
Well, actually, one of my favorite, or not, I won't say favorite, but one of my biggest memories that I have of both mom and dad, and their generosity, but also wanting us to just do well in life and be responsible and learn from our mistakes, is actually when we had gone to Costco, and I'm pretty sure my mom would remember this story. But I remember at the time there was this thing called an iHome, which was like, it wasn't an Apple product, but it was like made for Apple products. And I wanted an iHome so badly, and it was just a thing for my phone to be plugged into and play music again. Music is pretty big for us. And I went up to my mom and my dad at Costco, and I was like, I want this. And it was pricey. I'm not going to lie. Like, it was really expensive for the time and for just being a speaker. But I was like, I really want it. And my mom and my dad were looking at me, and I could tell that the answer was going to be no. Like, I already knew it. But then my mom told me, like, she had like some telepathy moment with my dad, and she looked at me and she goes, I don't mind buying you anything that you want, but you just have to prove to me that you deserve it and that you're going to earn it. And at the time, I didn't deserve it or earn it, so I didn't get it. But eventually I did. But that was a lesson in itself, knowing that my parents were that generous enough to, they said, oh, I mean, of course, we're not millionaires. We can't purchase everything in the world, but if they can and have the means to, of course, they're going to want to, because they have the heart to. So that's something that I have always hold near and dear to my heart. I don't know if you remember that, Dad, but that iHome also changed my life.
I do. And I remember the last one too. Do you remember it?
The last one?
Yeah.
I don't remember the last one. What'd you buy me?
When you went to summer camp. Church summer camp.
I don't remember that one.
You don't remember that one? Oh, I surprised you with a present.
Jesus.
Oh, I love that.
I surprised you with your Bose portable speaker.
Yes, my dad. My dad has. It's kind of very similar. Most of it's like related to like speakers or music.
Because she kept asking me for to use mine or borrow mine.
It's a good speaker. It's not sponsored or anything, but it was like some speaker that he has here. And I remember asking him, I was like, can I borrow it? Because it's really good. Like, I want to borrow it because I want to use it at church camp. Because I was a counselor. So it's all connected somehow. But I like to, if I'm a counselor, I like to wake up my girls with music, like worship music. I'll put it on in the morning instead of yelling at them to get up. So I was like, I'll just use the speaker. Can I borrow it? And he's like, no. I was like, oh, man. And then I came home right before camp. And on my bed, there was a speaker. And it was like the same brand and everything. And I was like, yeah.
Except brand new.
It was brand new. It was so good. I would have taken the old one. You could have kept the new one, but too late.
Okay.
What is, maybe my sister always talked about this too on the podcast, but what are like some of the main differences in my sister and like between us?
They're so big.
Okay, tell us some.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Well,
take your time.
Jasmine is more of a, I would say,
Crybaby?
more like me in the artsy sense of the word and musical sense of the word, except she excels me in that. I did it differently than she does, and she has an awesome way. She's so talented, and she's a great vocal musician. She has a great person. What do you call it? Effervescent personality, and she.
Some big words that are happening right now.
Everybody knows what effervescent is. You know, it's like champagne, bubbly. Her elementary school teacher used to call her Star.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. Sparkle.
Oh.
Sparkle, that's right. Well, stars, yeah.
Shout out to Miss Davis.
Yeah. And then Bevin, on the other hand, she is super intelligent, intellectual, and she's more, what do you call it? When you think more about the outcome of something.
You hear that
So
voice?
she.
I always know everything.
Well, Jasmine is too, but
Apple
Bevin
cards.
has that. I think that's where she excels, in that she's a great parent. She has,
It's debatable.
and both these girls are great in communication skills, and they have a lot on their shoulders, but they are able to do what they're called to do, whatever job they do. They can do anything they want to do. Both of these girls.
Classic parenting saying.
That's really from my heart, and I
Ready?
really believe that.
You're not ready for this wicked reference. You can do anything.
Okay, Jasmine, what's something about Dad that you're thankful for?
I think the best way to put it is okay. Hi, Mom. Well, I mean, I'll talk in specific for Dad, if that's okay. I've always felt, and maybe this it contributes because he had retired when we were really young, or at least for me, I was like 6th grade. Even before that, but I've always felt, and something that I love about Dad is that he's always present, if that makes sense. So like I can rely on the fact that my dad will be present, and if he's not physically present, he will be emotionally present, if that makes sense. So I feel
Until he isn't.
what do you mean?
Until I'm no longer present.
I'm gonna go cry. I'm gonna go cry now. No, I've always felt that like he's definitely, a person in my life that I can count on, right? But he's again someone that I felt has always supported us and present even when we don't want him to be present. Like that's the sort of feeling that I get. Like when we were younger, he would never miss anything that was important to us, and likewise for my mom. And he's when we needed him for help with homework, always there. When we needed him. Oh yeah, unless it's math. But like he would be the one that was taking you to piano lessons, right? Taking me to the choir things, taking you to the choir things. So I've always felt like Dad was always there for us in all of the ways that we needed him to be. Ow, someone's toes
Helping
combed
you
through
with
my
your
hair.
helping you with your crown with jewels in it.
Oh my gosh, when I was the evil stepmother, is that the one you're talking about?
Crown. I still have that crown.
I have many funny stories about Dad. So, as they said multiple times, I'm not the most artistic when it comes to like physical art stuff. And I think I might have said this story on the podcast before, but I would always come home whenever I have like an art project or a project that is like a physical, like you have to create something artsy or draw something, and like that's not my forte. I know it's not my forte, so I come home. I don't like exclusively say like, ugh, I can't do this or whatever, but like I would try, and my dad would just be standing there like watching me, and he's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, I got to make this molecular cell, like make it, with out of beans or paper mache. I have to make a mask out of paper mache, or I have to make a California mission, or I have to draw a portrait of Shaquille O'Neal." Literally, those are all projects I came home with. I would try to do them myself, and he would watch me for, I don't know, maybe like a couple hours, like try to do something. Struggle. And then he would be like,
Do you need my help?
I'd pretty much be like done with what I could do, and he would go, do you need my help? Would you like me to help you? Just, just touch it up a little bit and you refine it, make it look a little bit better. I was like, and I'd be like, instantly, yes, please, thank you. And he wouldn't like shove me out of the way. Like, he always encouraged me. Like, if I wanted to help, then he was more than willing to let me help. But I knew after getting a little bit older, like, just let him do his thing. Because otherwise, it's not going to look good. So every single time he'd turn my little stick figure into like something beautiful. So for Shaquille O'Neal, for example, I'll never forget
that.
it. When I could, okay? It wasn't shaded in or anything. So it's just like a circle and then a face. I come back a couple hours later. It's fully shaded in. Changed everything. I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. But I was like, you could definitely tell a 6th grader did not draw this.
Wait, my favorite, one of my favorite things, it's kind of funny. It's the opposite of what you said, but I remember having to do the California mission project. And for those of you who are listening who don't know what that is, when you're in a specific grade, I think it, oh man, they used to.
It was fun.
But you used to have to build, like you would be assigned or you would choose a mission from California and you would have to build like a replica of that mission.
Particular, like it has to be exactly the
Yes.
Mind you, we're in 4th grade. How are we supposed to make this a perfect representation of a mission? And then, but they wanted the child to do it. So they're like, your parents can't do it. But like, how is a 4th grader supposed to be able to do this?
It beats me. It beats me. But I remember.
I thought the same thing.
You're going to laugh at me though. I was so looking forward to that because being a younger sibling and also seeing the grades ahead of me do them, I'm like, oh, that looks fun. And I'm more creative than said sister. So I was looking forward to creating this mission. I picked a mission specifically because it was pretty. And I was like, oh, I'm about to kill this. I was so hyped for it. My dad decides that he wants to be a part of it. And I remember being so frustrated because, again, the ideal was to build a mission, like a building. He was. No. Here's what he did. I didn't bring a mission to school. I brought a poster. I brought a poster of the mission photos because I was on the edge or the beginning of like this digital age, right? Because the digital cameras were a thing. And so I went to the mission that I picked, essentially. And I took lots of photos of the outside, been trying to be, quote, artsy fartsy as you can be when you're in 4th grade. Took so many photos. Dad was like, I'll handle it. Don't worry. I'll get all your supplies. I was like, okay, great. Thanks, Dad. Like, I don't have money anyway. And then he comes back with a poster with my photos that I took. And the best part, and I was like, what is this? What is this? He's like, it's your mission project. I made like a collage. And I was like, oh, cool. But like, I was so confused. And he got so excited. And he was like, but look here. And he goes, do you see that? And I was like, oh my God, it's my face.
I knew it.
It's my literal face. He had made a photo of me on top of the building, essentially, but made it like transparent. So I was like part of the foliage sort of thing. And I remember looking at it and I was like, what is happening? Why did you do that? And he goes, it's you. It's your project. And I'm like, thanks, Dad. But why does it look like I have chocolate on my face? Because the shadows from the trees were like all over my face here, so it just looked like I had chocolate smeared all over my face. And I remember being like, thanks, Dad. And I brought it to school and everyone had their built little missions, and I was like, I have a poster with my face. It was so embarrassing, but I got an no, it was his idea.
And what was your grade?
I got an A.
So that's all that matters. You got an A. Got it. So, I never had any issues ever handing over those projects to him because I always got A's doing them. I knew if I were to do them by myself, there was no way. Or I would get stressed out too about doing them because I'd try to like visualize it, but like I could never.
It wasn't your forte.
It really wasn't. I remember I could Google what I want something to look like, and then I'd show you, and you'd be like, "Okay, I can run with that."
I do remember your like little paper mache mask.
That was tight.
I thought it was so cool. Like with the yeah,
We did.
you
I think
wanted
we
to
still
play
have
with
it.
and you said no, and I was like, oh man.
We have it. We still have it somewhere.
It's probably in storage, but I think
in
my
my
so
closet.
my dad did the whole paper mache mask and like the detailing and everything. My job was to bejewel the box that it went in. Bejewels. But even that he took over from me. Grandpa is very artistic. Okay, boys, do you have any? What's your favorite thing about? Oh, I never shared my favorite thing about Dad, and then we'll share about Mom afterwards. So my favorite thing about Dad, other than him being like my savior when it came to art projects, because I could never. Do you remember when I took art in middle school too? It was the worst.
You hated that.
I hated it.
Yes,
so
you
much.
did. It wasn't something you wanted
Yeah.
to do.
But I will say, even if my dad knew I was not going to be good at baseball or basketball or even cheerleading,
Wow.
you always encouraged me to like try it out. Like
Mhm.
if you don't like it, then you don't like it. And it was never any pressure to like
To do it.
or like, well, I wouldn't say not to do it, because you guys are always like, if you do sign up for something, like it is your responsibility to like see it through. Like you can't just like quit
Yeah.
in the middle. But it was always encouraged, like just try it out. Like if you're not good, you're not good. Like what, you don't have nothing to lose. It's just a game. And that was always fun because I got to try out so many things, and you guys never held us back from like trying things, and I quit so many different things. And I also appreciated being able to video game with you as I got a little bit older
Mhm.
and watch you try to outplay me on games, and that never happened.
Lifting my legs up.
Yeah. Well, my dad, you guys got a computer when we were pretty young. I would say we're like, I was in like, had to have been like 5th grade.
Dial up.
Yeah, but that gave us the opportunity to like be like frontiers of like the internet, like millennial, you know. That's how I figured out a bunch of stuff.
That was amazing to
Yeah.
look back at that.
And I don't know, it's fun. Like I said, we're not rich, so we just do what we can. It usually was like a hand me down from somebody's work or something.
We got
but-
that computer from that dinosaur from one of your mom's job from community hospital. They had a sale in one of their work sites. So we just went over there and picked out what we want. They were
it
they were
worked.
used.
We got to use it for like Word docs and stuff back in the day. Jazz, you wanted to say something?
I forgot.
Oh. Boys, sit up real quick. What's something that you love about Grandpa?
He plays video games. Does like Roblox.
Yeah.
And
They got me hooked.
he somehow got more strength than me and
That's correct.
and he has only been playing for like a year, and I've been playing that game for like 3 years, and he's still beating me.
Wow.
Because they're limited funds.
What about you? What's something you love about Grandpa?
Video games.
You like playing video games too? Come here, Lincoln.
What about McDonald's?
What?
He gets us McDonald's almost all the time in the mornings.
Yep.
And then what do you love about Grandpa? Oh, he's shy. Okay, so then
He's
we'll
feeling
share,
left out right
we'll
now.
share something about Mom. Okay. Something about Mom that I have always appreciated and like I've carried on with me as I've gotten older is she was very adamant to me about like never breaking promises. So like whenever she promised something, like it was gonna happen. Like there was no doubt in my mind. I feel like I try to be like that for my kids. If I promise them something, then I don't want to ever break a promise or break their trust. So one of those times was when I was dating Thomas. We have talked about before how we would travel back and forth. And there was this one holiday where mom had promised me like, oh, I promise you we're going to go see him. And something happened. I think I even had like a sinus infection and Dad wasn't feeling well. So he wasn't going to come. It's like the first time Dad didn't want to come for whatever reason. Maybe he was sick or something. And then you were busy. So you weren't going to be able to come too. But she had promised me that we were going to go. And one thing about Mom is, but at least during that time, she never traveled without Dad. Like they were always together. They always traveled together. But she drove me herself all the way to LA, and like we spent the
I remember
weekend
that.
there.
Yeah.
And like it was just me and her, and that like never happened. Like a 6-hour drive, that's like crazy. So that stuck with me about just like being what is it called?
A kid.
A kid, no, having integrity and like following through. When you say you're gonna do something, then follow through with it, because your word is everything. When you say like if you break someone's trust, then that's like that's it. So I hold that like that's one of like my what is it like the
Check marks.
check or cornerstones of your life is for me is like I don't want to ever break a promise. And then for the both of my parents, my mom and my dad, they have helped me and Thomas so much with the boys. Like I don't know how we would have survived without them. Honestly, the kids have been here all week. But also it's like they understand like parents need a break.
Mm-hmm.
And they never complain about having the kids here, and they're always happy to have them here. And they're just, like even when I know they're tired, sick and tired and irritated with them, like if the boys are like, yeah, like if the boys tell them like I want to go to your house, they're like, okay, like never. And we, sometimes as a parent, you drop your kids off at somebody's house and you worry like, oh, I don't know if that person is going to be able to like handle them, or if they're going to be too much, or the kids are want to come home. Like I never even worry about that. Like I know mom and dad got the boys. Like we have nothing to worry about, and it's easier for Thomas and I to like go enjoy ourselves when we go out on a date, or if we're going to visit family somewhere else without them. We don't have to worry about anything because we know mom and dad will take care of it, and they're not like young sprouts anymore either. So we're thankful for you. I know we say it all the time, but we really are, because
It goes both ways.
we would not. I don't know how we would handle these boys without you guys.
Well, your boys are a blessing to have as grandparents. So,
kids, I guess.
Yeah. They're boys and they get rowdy. And Grandpa threatens them that I'm going to send him home and stuff like. But they're still a blessing.
They'll FaceTime me. Bevin, do you hear your kids? And then they're in the background, the boys, we're going to be good. We're good. We're going to be good. And then they're good.
Because they want to stay here.
Yeah, they literally, me and Thomas have already said, like, we bet Benji, when he turns 18, he's going to be like, I'm out of here. I'm going to go live with grandma. So, yeah, this is their second home. We are so thankful to have them here, literally, like, down the street from us. So,
within if the stoplights are all right and the traffic's okay, 5 minutes.
but also like my dad comes every morning to our house to pick up the youngest so I can take the boys to school and so I can work in peace. Like he doesn't have to do that. Like he could be like, it's your child, like you take care of him. Even, like you could easily say that, but you never do, and you never complain about having them. I think the only time you ever say no is like when you're not feeling well, which is understandable.
Right.
So
It happens on occasion.
And the same with mom. She literally she loves having them here and loves entertaining them. At least that's how I feel that
She does.
So never complains.
She loves her boys.
They're not the kind of grandparents that just like the title of being grandparents. Like they are actively in their lives and like taking care of them and are like a second pair of parents for them. So here, let me hold him and then you give your thoughts on mom. Come here, Linky.
I think if I'm being 100% honest, I think kind of similar to you and me, like my relationship with mom flourished as I got older and older. Part of that is because she works so hard, and when she continues, and she even told me her timeline. I'm not gonna tell you, but she told me her timeline, like when she's gonna retire and everything. Okay, well,
we're trying to get her retire earlier.
Yeah, well, she wants. Yeah, but when we were younger, I had a harder time maybe connecting with mom because I think when she's such a good worker and workaholic almost, that when she gets home from work, or when she used to get home from work, she's still sort of like in her work mentality
mode.
So I really wouldn't see like our mom's personality all that much unless we were on vacation or we were at church. So as I got older, like a more like not child to mother, it was more like I can be friends with my mom and have more conversations with her. That started happening later on in life. But as for when I was younger, and something that I've always loved and admired in my mom is just, it's more of like a spiritual thing. But
Yeah.
I can recall from such a young age, my mom being such like a prayer warrior.
She still
like,
is.
She's like a silent but deadly prayer warrior almost.
She
Like you
is.
never see her really do it, but when you do, you can just tell that she's praying with all that she has in her. And I've been talking to like my best friend and my boyfriend recently, because we've had like prayer and worship nights at our church. And one of my biggest memories from when we had like revivals in or in my church or in the church was I remember her getting on her knees and praying and being at the altar and crying and worshiping.
Weeping.
Almost with her whole body. And I think because she was so stoic when I was younger, and I never saw her like that. Yeah, it was jarring to say the least, but it was something that I admired because it was instilled in us from a young
And
age.
she's still like that.
Yeah, so like even now as an adult, like when we have these worship and prayer nights, I'm like, I can't just like I'm gonna pray because this is how I was taught to pray, or this is what I remember her doing and getting on her knees. I don't want to take that stuff for granted as an adult now. So I'm like, I want to emulate that sort of, and that made a lasting impact on me when I was younger. But I love my mom because she's always been, again, constant and supportive for both my sister and I. Even when she didn't get it or when she doesn't agree, she still supports, in the best way that she can. Like when my sister was still dating Thomas, she would, push to make sure my sister was able to see him. And even in my past, I've had pretty awful people in my life. Even if they were awful, she was still supporting me and wanting the best for me. And again, as a teenager, maybe it's different for my sister because of my personality, but like mom and I clashed a little bit more. I think because we didn't understand the other person, but also I was just an angsty, cranky, emotional teenager. So I didn't really care to communicate with my mom. But like I said, as time had gone on,
They drew closer together.
We're very close now, and like I'll call my mom for everything. And if my mom doesn't answer my call, then I'll just call my dad, and then I'll be like, "Why didn't my mom answer the phone?"
Why didn't mom answer?
Yeah, but I love my
Where
parents,
are
and
you?
I think again in retrospect to both of them, not only mom had that like big impact on how I serve or how I love the Lord. Like that's something that I've learned from both of them, and being giving and willing for not only your soul and your heart, but also in service and how you treat other people as well. Because even before my mom and I got close, like she always had a giving and loving heart to anyone and everyone. So that's something that I've always really liked about my mom. Maybe I didn't get it at the time when I was younger, but I do now. Love you, Mom.
Wow.
And she loves you dearly too.
Yeah. What about you? What do you love about Grandma?
She makes something good for me.
What's your favorite thing that Grandma cooks?
Easy. What? Spam and rice.
Ah, spam and rice. What about you, Benji?
What do I? That's
Everything.
I know that because there's a lot to say.
What do you love about Grandma?
I love him making the best things.
Like what?
Rice, spam, and rice.
Oh, what else do you like? What else does she make you?
Noodles.
Noodles? Anything else?
Yeah.
What?
Broccoli.
Broccoli. Very good.
She
All right.
makes the best broccoli.
Benji, did you have something you want to share about
Yeah.
Grandma?
That she's fun because whenever me and Ollie are bored, like we don't know what to do, she like does something for us. Like one time when when you and Daddy and Mommy, when you guys were like, I forgot what you did, but when you were away, we played hide and seek on the last day, and it was fun.
That was fun. That was
You and Grandma?
Fun.
Yeah.
And Ollie and Lincoln. It was
Can't
fun.
Our mom was very strict when we were growing up with us, and not strict in a bad way, but just like don't make a mess kind of thing. Like not just like very like I don't know, mom. Mom wants everything to be put in place. But with my kids, she's just like, you want ice cream for breakfast? Of course, it's perfect. Grandma does let you have lollipops.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so I have a.
Sometimes.
Did you have anything else you want to share about Mom and Dad? Okay, so I have a question for all of us, or for you, for all of us. Okay, so anybody can answer. Who is the most likely in the family to make everyone late?
Grandma.
Grandpa.
Or this one.
What?
Oh no, this one. Definitely Benji. Benji takes
Yep.
forever to get ready.
Yeah, Benjamin. Benjamin.
Ollie.
Benjamin.
Ollie.
Okay. They're getting a little comfortable with these microphones here. Okay, the next question. Hold on. Who's the most likely to forget a family birthday?
Me.
Me too. I'm really bad at it.
No.
Ollie. Ollie.
No, you forget some other people's birthdays.
I think generally maybe mom.
Oh, maybe I'll.
Oh.
Maybe mom.
She knows everybody's birthday.
I don't know.
Ollie.
Your birthday's after Benji's. Wow.
Another one.
Okay.
Okay, the next question is who's the most likely to make everyone laugh at an awkward moment?
Oliver.
Ollie. Ollie.
Yeah, Ollie is the jokester, the funny one. He makes all of us cackle.
Who is the worst at keeping a secret?
It's about me or dad. Me or
Auntie.
dad especially when it comes to gifts. Like we cannot keep that secret. We're like, I got you something.
Dad and Oliver are the worst.
Oh really?
They're the same.
Oh yeah, Ollie and Grandpa.
Oliver will go, we're definitely not telling you something. Or
Yeah, it's like we're definitely
but Dad
not
is,
going.
I've said it before, whenever there's a surprise that he's supposed to keep secret, he'd be like, don't go anywhere. So weird.
I'm actually before I arrived here, like I was about to leave my work on the way over for Thanksgiving, and I asked my dad, I was like, do you think I should make or I should grab food? And my dad's like, maybe not, right? And I was like, why? What's mom cooking? He goes, oh, I don't know. And I was like, hello? Like, do I need to get food or not? And so he was like, she's preparing something, I think, right? But like he didn't want to give the goods away. And even the next day when I came for Thanksgiving, like I woke up and I was like, I didn't know mom was barbecuing, but like my dad tried to give me the hints ahead of time. He was like, maybe. A wink.
Who's the most likely to win at a family game night?
Thomas.
Mom.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's go roast. Yeah, I think Thomas and
He's the gamer.
Oh yeah, and Grandpa. Grandpa's a gamer.
My turn. Mommy and Daddy.
We always beat them.
Sometimes.
Grandpa, Grandma, and Daddy.
Daddy, he works a lot, but sometimes Benji plays on his computer. Oh, yep. That's true.
Daddy works a lot, but sometimes Benji plays on his computer.
Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
Who's the most likely to show up unannounced at your house? Jasmine.
Auntie.
Jasmine.
I remember that one time we were sleeping in the living room and then Auntie appeared out of the garage out of nowhere.
That
Weren't
was
you happy to see me?
It was planned, but also not planned to tell you. That was the whole situation. I love surprising my nephews if I can. It's one of my favorite things when I come home to visit. Their reactions are really funny. But as they get older, they're getting less and less impressed. They're like, you're here again? But then I'll call them in the middle of the week and be like, what you doing? And Oliver will be like, how many more days until Thanksgiving?
Okay, so we're gonna wrap it up soon, but I do have one last bit of not information, but just like like a little tidbit of insight into our family. I feel like a lot of families, they deal with like, I mean, we have had like family like issues, not drama. I wouldn't say drama. Like we have come to like we've disagreed before or whatever, but for the most part, I feel like our family is for the most part like pretty drama free. Oh, do you have something you want to add?
Yeah. I mean, I would agree with you completely. Like, I think there are some families where, like, siblings won't talk to each other, or, like, kids won't talk to the parents, or whatever that is. But I think generally, at least in our immediate family, like, we're all pretty solid, or, like, we're quick to apologize after we've cooled off. But, I think that also comes with any family, like, little disagreements here and there. But that's something I've loved about us.
Can I do something?
Well, and I feel like a big reason for that is because how mom and dad have always taught us to just like, life is too short to like hold on to a grudge. Just let it go and move on, because push comes to shove, like family is all you got at the end of the road. And like, are you gonna live your life like ignoring people that you should be close to and like
Alienated.
yeah, and being, it's a lonely life if you're by yourself, so we're stronger together. So Dad, do you have any words of wisdom about just raising children or family, or like any last bits of words?
Mm-hmm. The best advice I can give, and it's always been that, is how my parents raised me, to put God first in everything. Because when you do, everything else falls into place. All your troubles you can take to the Lord. All your indifferences you can take to the Lord. All your secrets you can take to the Lord. And He'll help you. If you don't have God in your life, it's like you're doing it on your own. And when you get depressed or when you feel lonely, you're on your own. But God has promised to be with us always. That's my number one advice to anybody who has a family. If you put Him first, He'll set everything in your household in order.
Amen. I didn't know we were getting spiritual here.
Well, you asked me that question, and that's how I feel.
Yep. Very true. Well, I'm glad you went there, to be quite honest. Is there any other questions that you have, Bevin?
You are too. I love you. He's mad at me right now for some reason. I don't know.
Mom is still not back.
Yeah. We tried
It's
to
just
hold
gone
out.
for an hour.
Yeah, we tried to hold out for you, Mother, but unfortunately, I think that concludes our episode today. Thank you so much for listening, watching, whatever you are doing, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode. This has been the Sispatch with Bevin, Jasmine,
And Dad.
and also Mom and boys. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Robert.